criminals aren't taking a break and may be poised to launch cyber attacks against U.S. businesses.
Another batch of letters is being delivered to more victims of what could be one of the largest breaches of medical records ever.
Our cyber defenders trained to think and say, hey, trust nothing, zero trust.
Yeah.
But for way too long, the burden has always been on the shoulders of the CISO. How many of the team members in this organization actually are trained like a CISO? The size of cybercrime is larger than the GDP of Japan. Now think of that for a second.
You to basically think a little bit more in detail and let us know, let the viewer know, where are we going wrong? That's something decision maker of the organizations must realize, that this is something where we are lacking. So
hello everyone and welcome to another episode. Today we have two exciting guests with us. We have the well-known cybersecurity thought leader, Mr. Bavisi with us. Please give him a virtual round of applause. And we have Mr. Azim Ahmed, CEO of a training organization. I'm glad to have all of your attention. So to introduce Mr. J to you, he's an award-winning founder and CEO of Easy Counsel Group. Probably many of you are aware of the Easy Counsel Group, and it is known globally for the Certified Ethical Hacker Program, the Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator Program, the Secure Analyst Program, as well as the License Penetration Testing Program. So Mr. J keeps talking about the penetration testing, and probably we'll have more insights from him today. The Easy Counsel delivers over 27 InfoSec facing certifications across 2,200 partner locations in 140 countries. So that's about Mr. J. And we have Azim here, who is the CEO and founder of Network Binary. Network Binary specializes in corporate training in a wide range of technologies such as networking, cybersecurity, and cloud technologies, which caters to businesses in the UAE and beyond. They are also a trusted training partner to leaders of the industry such as Easy Counsel, Cisco, etc. And they're equipping professionals with hands-on training through courses like CHFI, CCNA, CCNP, and CCI. So those are some of the in-depth courses that we'll also be talking about. Network Binary is under the patronage of Office Connect Group, and it's committed to giving back to society by its CSR activities.
Thank you.
So, welcome gentlemen, and happy to have you on board today.
Thank you.
A round of applause for them.
Thank you, Kishore.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.
So the first question that we have for the day is of course towards our celebrity speaker here.
Not quite.
Could you share your journey in cybersecurity and what led you to establish Easy Counsel in the first place?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Kishore. Thank you for having me here on the show. So as you know, Easy Counsel is a cybersecurity certification body, and the earliest inception of this organization was actually after 9/11 attacks. It was a very different time. And if you talk to any organization and you said cybersecurity, really what cybersecurity meant was an antivirus, right? In 2001, if you told somebody I have an antivirus, they'll go like, oh, great, you've taken care of cybersecurity. If you said you had firewall, they go like, wow, you're really spending a lot of money. And, you guys are cutting edge. But really beyond that, there wasn't much. The world was very different at that point in time. So after 9/11 attacks, one of the biggest thoughts behind the formation of the organization was, how are we actually defending organizations? How should institutions think about cyber defense? Because the world was going to become very turbulent. And what we foresaw as an organization was that the bad guys, the threat actors, can do a lot of terrible things. For example, you've got train systems. You can actually alter signals and cause trains to crash. you could hack into airline systems and cause the altitude meter of an airline to be disrupted, right? And again, I'm talking of sci-fi, just in a imagination world at that point in time. There was no possibility of doing it, but what if was a question. What if bad people got into hospitals and hacked, drug labels, and they prescribed dangerous, nefarious drugs to individuals that really just need paracetamol,
Wow.
right? What kind of damage can it cause? And what happens if you had a bomb go off and you bring bleeding people to hospital only to have the hackers change blood group labels? Could that happen? So that was the kind of the vivid imagination me and some of the founding members had very early on, and we realized that something has to be done. We have to train the good guys with the same skills or even more than what the bad guys already have. And hence the idea of certified ethical hacker came up. I mean, when I was young, I used to love martial arts. I still do, but as you can see, I've obviously not spent time in it. So the idea was, how do you create a cyber kung fu, right? And how do you create an online bodyguard? So that's the kind of idea behind it. And our very first program was a certified ethical hacker. At that point in time, when we launched it, we launched the 5 phases of ethical hacking, and we wanted to teach all of the good people how hackers do their work and how you should too, and with the idea that we can create cyber bodyguards. So that was the foundation of EC Council. And we started the program, and some of our earliest adopters were none other than the FBI, the US Army, the US Navy, the US Air Force, and from there it just took off. And 20 years later now, CH has become a household name within cybersecurity, and we have created hundreds of thousands of ethical hackers around the world, certified, and they work for some of the largest organizations. So that's kind of the short of the formation of EC Council, Kishore.
Amazing. That's a great way to have an in-depth look at your journey. And we have heard in many of your talks that you have talked about the 6 trillion economy that the cyber security industry is. Has that changed, or has it increased? Do you think cybersecurity has become more important today than ever before?
So let me reverse that with a question to you, right? And to both you, Azim, and you, Kishore, right? Which is the world's largest economy?
The US,
The US.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
correct.
Second largest?
China.
Yeah.
Not bad.
China.
Not bad. All right. Third largest?
Third
Should
could
be
be,
either Russia or India.
No.
I think it's Germany.
Used to be Japan.
Oh.
Japan, yeah.
But there was one other nation. If it was a nation, it would have been the third largest. Japan would have been number 4. Do you know what was that? What nation is that? It's called cybercrime.
Oh.
The size of cybercrime is larger than the GDP of Japan. Now think of that for a second. Think of that as an individual, as an organization, as a citizen. We're talking about a massive problem around the world. The third largest economy of the world. This is a report that was very widely published and said that if cybercrime was an economy, it would have been larger than the GDP of Japan. Right? Right? And that's really the problem that we're facing.
Exactly.
And that problem is not going away. The problem is becoming larger because we're becoming even more interconnected. Right? If we look at 20 years ago when I started EC Council, at that time we already had the desktop revolution. We were going into networked revolution. But say in the 80s, we're talking about a mainframe revolution, right? So computers meant mainframe, and then it became desktop computing, and then it became networked devices, and then it became mobile, right? We moved to mobile, and then moved on to cloud, right? And while we were figuring out cloud, we haven't figured out network. We haven't really figured out any of the other technologies. We moved on to blockchain. Before you knew blockchain, you're in artificial intelligence.
Yeah. IoT things. Yeah,
Right?
Lots of
in
things.
between, you're right. Exactly, Azim, right? There was IoT in between. Now, each of these technologies require cybersecurity and refined cybersecurity. You got to understand, when you say cloud, you got to understand cloud security. How are you going to implement cloud? Right?
course.
How are you going to configure? How are you going to protect your data? When you talk of networking, we're still figuring out networking. There's so many organizations that haven't even gotten that right. They misconfigure firewalls, they cause problems. What about applications that we're building in? So now you think about that, you have a very large threat actor, which is cybercrime, and you have a universe of human beings that are adopting technology far quicker than they're able to defend it. This is a very large problem statement. It's a problem statement for governments. It's a problem statement for enterprises. It's a problem statement for businesses. It's a problem statement for individuals, and that's really what we're up against. So everyone has to worry. And when we talk about AI, it's a whole different world. I mean, I can talk about that, non-stop. But
For hours,
AI
yeah.
brings a whole different level and dimension to cybersecurity challenges. So I guess that hopefully answers your question.
Yeah, it's very obvious that as the world is digitally transformed, the cyber threat landscape has increased tremendously. And I agree to that 100%.
Interesting. That's very interesting. And we come to the next point, which is wow, what are the most significant global cybersecurity threats currently shaping the industry, and how are different regions responding to these challenges? Obviously, being a globe-trotter, I'm sure you have a world view of that.
Yeah, well, the most recent problems that we're facing is really AI, right? The use of deepfakes in voice, in video. I'm sure you guys know about an organization that transferred 25 million US dollars because the CFO instructed the transfer. The CFO turned up not just in voice, but in person in a Zoom meeting. The only problem was the CFO didn't exist, right? It was an AI avatar, right? And just recently in UAE, there was another case of $35 million. So this is a major problem. But more than that, EC Council ran a report, the CH threat report. And what we did was we actually went out and interviewed our frontline ethical hackers. These are ethical hackers that are frontline of the defense community. They work for Fortune 50. They are all over the organizations. And we really wanted to understand that in the world of AI, what are they seeing? What troubled us was 83% of them came back. And we had interviewed more than 1,000 ethical hackers. So that was part of the survey. 83% of them came back saying that with the world of AI, we're seeing very sophisticated level of attacks that we've never seen before. We've been doing this for some time, but all of a sudden we're dealing with a very perfect threat actor. See, when phishing was a issue, you would normally be able to spot a phishing email because the spelling will be wrong, the logo wouldn't be right, the language is kind of off. Those times are gone.
Yeah.
Now you find perfect emails,
Correct.
beautifully written. The logo looks even more original than original.
Yeah.
Right? So it's becoming very easy for threat actors to be able to go out and launch these attacks. And that's really a major problem. And that precipitates an attack like ransomware. And this is why you are seeing another problem that you're seeing is ransomware attacks. And very recently, there was a healthcare company in the US that was attacked because of ransomware. They paid the ransom. But a couple of the threat actors fought amongst themselves about percentage of their share, and they did not return the data because they were all busy fighting amongst themselves. So even if you pay ransomware, it doesn't mean you're going to get your organization back. This is the kind of threat that we're dealing with. So I guess, Kishore, in short, attacks are becoming easier because of AI. Defense is becoming tougher because the cyber defense community are not able to keep up with the level of attacks or the skill. And that's the problem.
So, coming back to the fact that AI has now grabbed a lot of attention, how do you see cyber criminals adapting in this age of AI and IoT and advanced technologies?
I think that's a very good question, a very complicated question as well, right? I think the world belongs to whoever that is willing to learn faster. It's either the criminals are going to learn faster to use AI, or the defenders are going to learn faster to defend against attacks precipitated by AI. I think there's just no two ways out of it. The problem that we are facing is that the defenders are very busy. You see, because for a cybersecurity attacker, all they have to do is just get into one door. They don't need all the doors. Just one window, one crack, that's good enough. But cyber defenders have to lock every single door, every single window, ceiling, wall, ground. They cannot afford to make a single mistake. So the question now is investment in being able to be updated with the latest technologies, right? So you look at deepfake technologies. I mean, AI allows you to use deepfake, but AI doesn't allow you to use deepfake to attack. It takes a human being with a criminal mindset to say, I can use AI, create a deepfake, and now I can go con someone and scam somebody, right? But are our cyber defenders trained to think and say, hey, trust nothing, zero trust,
Yeah.
right? This is really the problem that we are actually facing. So EC Council is doing a lot of work in this area. We're doing the best, but hey, the criminals are always going to be ahead, right? The good guys are always going to be a step behind. But that's the real challenge. So I think the time has come with AI that we have to, it's an arms race, and we have to really speed up our deployment of our cyber defenses and our ability of being able to learn much quicker.
Um, uh, Jay, I've been in the industry for now more than 15 years. We have tools, we have methodologies, we have technologies, right? Taking basically aiding to the advancement of cybersecurity defense. We have lots of learning going on. We have ecosystems developed by different players in the market. Of course, EC Council has one. I have also been associated with the same industry. So because you are here, I just want to benefit and want to, though you partially answered that, but I want you to basically think a little bit more in detail and let us know, let the viewer know, where are we going wrong when it comes to a cybersecurity threat landscape, defending ourselves, the different organizations, businesses. Though we have so many things coming up, we have all the AI-backed firewalls, AI-backed cloud-based systems, right? We have lots of tools and methodologies in place, but there is something going wrong, right? Where we are not, able to cope up with the challenge. So, what do you think on that?
That's a very good question, Asim. I mean, look, I'll use a metaphor, right? In the world of health, if I told you, if you were to ask me, Jay, where are we going wrong? How can I be healthy? I could tell you should go to gym every day. But if you went to gym every day and every day you ate fast food and fried food, you're not going to be healthy. Or I could tell you, don't bother with the gym, eat fruits and vegetables, drink lots of water. But if we did eat fruit and vegetables, drank a lot of water, and you slept all day and didn't move, you're not going to be healthy either.
Yeah.
Right? The truth of the matter is cyber health is no different. We have to do a couple of things right and get everything in order, which means you talked about TTPs, right? Tools, techniques, and procedures. So you got to get the right tools.
Correct.
Get the right infrastructure in place, have the right
resources.
Resources. You got to have the right techniques. So you want to get all your governance models in place, and you want to get a configuration right, and you want to get all that. And you want to get all the right processes in place as well, right? But the thing is, if you got all of that, and you said that, okay, I am not going to train my cyber workforce, so the world is changing in front of you. Right?
That's right.
But take a look at any organization right now. You have cybersecurity professionals. How much does an enterprise really invest in the learning of their cybersecurity professional? Well, some organizations do a phenomenal job, right? And how do they train them? They send them for offsite trainings, right? 4 or 5 days, they do our certification, CH, no complaints there. But is that sufficient? Because the world is moving much quicker.
Of course.
Right? We are living in a world of TikTok and Instagram where people scroll. I mean, don't give me a 3-hour talk, right? Give me a 60-second tip. I want to be able to understand everything in 60 seconds.
Correct.
So cybersecurity learning has to be moving at that pace as well. We need to be able to give people bite-sized learning. So the problem that we face is, number one, if an organization, obviously they have a limited budget, but within their budget, they do a certain amount. In my opinion, I think it's all about updating and upskilling the workforce constantly. You've gone are the days where you would say, yeah, you know what, I will send my cybersecurity team for a training once every year for 5 days. You know why? Because many of them are cyber tourists. They will go for a training.
Yeah.
They check out. Right? They don't really want to take an exam because they're worried they'll fail, right? Or they don't feel like it yet. But it's important, so they show up. So the question is, how do we measure productivity in an organization? So what we need to do is, of course, we got to have certification training that's very valuable, but we need to be able to provide micro learning abilities with hands-on capabilities to our cyber workforce, making sure that every day they spend 20, 30 minutes upskilling themselves in new areas of cyber. That's my take.
Okay, thank you. I guess I know that's where I am just while you were answering, I was thinking about awareness platform of EC Council, because on one hand you are nurturing or preparing the technical workforce. On the other hand, you are also preparing your first line of defense, right? Because that's
right.
where you have to make sure not just the technical guys who are CISOs and all the
That's right.
technical people reporting to CISOs, but also all of the people belonging to the organization must be aware and must build the cybersecurity hygiene, right? That's where I guess this aware platform plays very important role, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like phishing attacks that happen all the time, right? How do you have an automated platform where you keep upskilling or cyber awareness? How do you use your
Correct.
first line of defense, and how do you use humans as a shield in making sure that attackers don't get in and install ransomware? You have to train them, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why we have a platform called Aware,
Correct.
which does automated phishing simulation. Absolutely. And that's exactly where we're going. In fact, most people know EC Council as a cybersecurity body, and if you ask them EC Council, they'll say Certified Ethical Hacker.
Of course, yeah.
But very
I
few
encountered
people,
this many times.
right? But very few people know that actually we have a full-fledged. We're the only cert body that has a full-fledged consulting division. We have 150 full-time consultants, and we protect ports, we protect central banks, we protect Fortune 10 insurance companies and financial institutions. We do that. So
Correct.
we do people, process, technology. Our people business is our consulting business, and we actually help live, right, organizations doing one of many services, whether it's a vulnerability assessment, a penetration test, a third-party vendor assessment, risk assessments,
Correct.
and so on. But we also do an upskilling business, which is where our certification, and then we have a technology unit where we do awareness platforms. So very few people know that EC Council
And the
does all
VAPD
three.
as well, I guess, belongs to
That's right.
that unit. Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Interesting. It looks like the cyber criminals per se seem to be much more active than the rest of the world, and it's always difficult to catch up with these actors. And
Yeah.
it also looks like there is a shortage, a global shortage of skilled professionals. What is your vision on that?
Yeah,
that?
there's it's undoubt. There's no question that there is a shortage of cybersecurity professionals, and because it's a very cybersecurity is a very difficult job, because you are really hired to defend an organization. The odds are stacked up against you. You have very limited budget, or at least somewhat limited budget, and you have a very expanding organization, right? The amount of servers keep going up, the amount of IP addresses keep going up, the amount of applications keep going up, the amount of technology dependence keep going up, and you have to defend all of that. So cyber criminals are having a field time because they have a very large attack surface,
Correct.
right? As I said earlier, they can attack an application, they can attack a IP, they can attack a server, they can attack an individual. They've got unlimited choices of being able to get there. So being in cybersecurity is very lucrative because organizations are looking for cybersecurity, but not any Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? The organizations want people with hands-on skills, and that's why when you see Certified Ethical Hacker, you will see that we launched our version 13 with AI inside. Our vision is we want to be able to teach cybersecurity professionals and make sure that when they get to an employment, they're able to tell an employer that I'm a certified ethical hacker and I know how to use AI to defend the organization. So it's very important for upcoming cyber professionals to have, not just any certification, but certification that employers want. And what do employers want today? Everybody wants somebody who understands AI, because this is where the new world is going to be.
Correct.
But more than that, on the other hand of the spectrum, at the executive leadership of an organization, we all know that normally most organizations have something called a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. But for way too long, the burden has always been on the shoulders of the CISO. We'll always hold the CISO responsible if the organization has some kind of a misstep. But if you think of the president of the United States, the president of the United States has got an entire organization around the president to help run the country. It's
Correct.
called the Office of the President of
Exactly.
the United States. Similarly, EC Council is of the opinion that CISO should have an office of the CISO, where a lot of team members are part of that office, that have a very combined alignment with organization objectives, and they are able to help the CISO in executing their duty. So the question is this: how many organizations actually think of the office of the CISO rather of being an individual versus an entire team? How many of the team members in this organization actually are trained like a CISO?
Yeah.
You will see that most organizations will say, okay, I've got a pen tester, I've got an incident response person, I might have a forensics person, I have a risk GRC person. But are they all aligned with the vision and the strategy of the company, cybersecurity strategy? And more often than not, you'll see that that's not the common case.
Correct.
And this is why EC Council built the Associate CCISO program. This is to train future generations of cybersecurity managers with the skills and competencies of a chief information security officer so that they can do a better job in defending the organization.
Correct. Perfect. So yeah, that's very important. And it's psychologically, if they are able to make difference between the 2 points, the way they are, things are missing, you have to have a separate office and then, well orchestrated CISO team aligned with the goal. If that's psychologically set up in the organization's decision maker's mind, then of course it's going to make difference. So because this has been something that I've been working with in learning, being a learning organization, Network Binary. So we have been working with basically the leaders of the industry to basically come up with 3 things. So one is a skill gap analysis. So we are sitting with the organizations, with the industry leaders, very closely working with the leaders, with their decision makers, that, as you were mentioning, that this is a problem we must resolve in order to address these challenges. Why? Because if you don't understand it's a big problem, then you are not going to invest on this. It's like, as you were saying, that 15 years ago, it was like, okay, we are secure, we have firewall, we have guys who are going to take care of that, right? So that's something decision maker of the organizations must realize, that this is something where we are lacking. So skill gap analysis, and then learning pathways for all the members, specifically the CISO team, the brigade, right? They must be at the cutting edge. So that's where we are making all that plan. And then we must come up with some learning ecosystem, which is what we have built in Network Binary, that is not just fostering the training, just a 5 days typical training, just go ahead with the labs and instructor is giving the instructions and that's all. It must be a learning ecosystem. That's where I would like you to comment later on, because you have the ecosystem as well for universities that you are, I think that's in preparation or whatever. So what we are doing, we are fostering the cognitive abilities, the critical thinking, interactive learning. Of course, hands-on labs is majorly, whether it is EC Council or the other courses we are doing, it's major components of the course are hands-on labs, because without it, it's not gonna get any benefit to the guys. And then you have to engage with the customers, the clients, or whoever you are teaching or training, in order to make sure they are part of lifelong learning, right? So you have to make their learning pathways, learning roadmaps. That's what we are doing. And then the third, in general, speaking and addressing the shortage of professionals, we have to figure out what are the talent pool sources, right? So what I have been, receiving question from students most of the time while talking to the universities, because we have done lots of projects with universities, training them. So they're always asking, every employer is looking for experienced guys, right? And we are freshers. So if you don't allow us and give us, opportunity to work, how we can demonstrate our skills, how passionate we are. So that's where someone must take chance on these youth to get them on board, because that's what I have several stories where a KYC credit card guy who was just doing bread and butter for his family, and eventually turned into a cybersecurity professional. A person, a young guy of 20, 21 years old, who was just who was very confused, like how to make career, where to go, and then finally he became part of our learning ecosystem, and then now he's a cybersecurity professional. So the talent pool, universities taking, like you were talking about, or maybe some other person from EC Council was mentioning, the program of universities, that we are taking these cybersecurity initiatives to the universities right from there, give them path, give them roadmap, so that they start from there and they become CISO when they get out and start serving to address those challenges. So that's for very sure that we must be smarter than the criminals, the hackers, right?
Not just that, Azim. I mean, EC Council has an online university, a fully accredited university.
That's what I wanted
and in
you to
our
explain.
university, statistics will show that all our graduates are employed. Right? It's a fact. Because the whole hypothesis of the way we teach our students is basically we put them through certification. So by the time they come out and they graduate in a master's degree in cybersecurity, for example, they probably have amassed 6 to 7 cybersecurity certifications. They already see
Yeah.
HH practical. They've done CHFI. They've done ECIH, incident handling. A lot of them have even completed associate CCSO. So they come out, to your point, they come out completely ready, right?
That's correct.
And of course, being an online university, the beauty that you have is that you don't stop working. See, normally what happens in most profession is when you want to do a master's degree, you get out of employment, then you go to a college.
Which is very painful for them.
It's very painful because you're taking a step back.
Yeah.
The problem in cyber is if you do that, by the time you come back, the world has changed.
Yeah, exactly.
So in EC Council University, the reason we kept this online is because we say, no, you carry on working. We want you to work. We want you to invest in this part-time. So as the world moves together with you, you're gaining skills from us. By the time you come out, there is no gap time. You're not out of your entire profession at all. So that I completely agree with you. That's that's the entire point. And that's why, even though you don't have experience, but you're so qualified with professional certifications that are hands-on, you can demonstrate your ability. Because at the end of the day, employers want either if you do not have evidence that you can do a productive job, then they want experience. Because experience is seen as a measurement of your ability to be productive.
Correct.
But if you don't have experience, but you have a globally accepted certification like CEH, right?
That adds lots of value.
You'll add a lot of value. You'll be able to tell an employer that, yeah, I don't have experience, but I've got CH version 13 AI with me. Test me.
That speaks volumes.
It speaks
for sure.
volumes, right? So then the employer is not going to tell you, no, give me an experience, because I think if a prospective candidate shows up at an employer and says, I have CH version 13, test me. Just go ahead and give me any environment. Let me show you what I've got. I doubt that any employer would say that I don't want to employ you because of your lack of experience. So that's why professional credential becomes a very important element. When you do not have experience, even more important, even more so, you should have one of the globally leading certifications out there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Interesting. The next point that we are going to talk about is, obviously we can see that the cybersecurity industry is evolving. So has EC Council's mission been able to adapt according to these changes? Is it flexible enough?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, our mission has always been to enable a digital mind. We want to make sure that we are able to help build a very secure world, and we want to ensure that we enable. So you may or may not have heard, but we recently announced a US $15 million scholarship with the White House. Right?
I came across.
Yeah. Out of it, 7 million was towards CCT. You'll be happy to know that actually there are more than 20,000 recipients
Oh, really?
already
that's
with CCT.
that's a big number.
This is enabling young minds as cyber technicians, very early on in their career, getting them involved in cybersecurity. So our mission has not changed. We are here to enable the good guys to help defend the world and create a more secure digital world. And we're doing that through our philanthropic scholarships through our various programs that we're doing.
That was another thing that I was thinking before meeting you, that I would talk about that, you're going to the people as a non-profit organization as well you run, right? So could you just a little bit talk about that? Like
Yeah, so EC Council has a non-profit called EC Council Foundation, and we do that basically for our philanthropic needs. We run events around the world. We run a conference called Hacker Halted, a highly technical event. We run in Atlanta every single year. It's normally end of the year. We run CISO forums around the world. We give out scholarships around the world. We try to make this world a better place. So yeah, so a lot of what we do is all about creating a much more safer world for the next generation.
great,
Wonderful.
great add-on.
That's great. So it looks like there is no lack of cybersecurity issues going across the globe. So how is this partnership between AC Council and Network Binary addressing all of these challenges that we are seeing?
Yeah, that's very important to look at. We got basically, there are two things that we need to look into that to answer that question. So one is, as a group, Office Connect group of companies, we are well present in the market. We have been serving over more than a decade. We have been serving big names, big four. You talk about any governmental organizations, the oil industry, right, and then any other corporates. So we are well established here. We have deep trust established over a period of time of more than a decade. So what we are doing now, Network Binary, of course, under the patronage of Office Connect Group, partnered with EC Council. We are taking those EC Council courses and services and all the ecosystem as he was talking about, and going to those partners where we have established relationship because they trust us very well. So we are taking those services to those customers to address those challenges as we were talking about and discussing the cybersecurity challenges, right? And then second, because I myself have been in the learning industry, I was also a trainer. I served like more than 10 years as a trainer and have been delivering more than 35 courses. So so we are taking that because Network Binary, so that was one part, taking this relationship, leveraging this relationship of the group and then offering EC Council's cybersecurity programs to them to address and cope up the challenges. Second, Network Binary is a basically team of highly experienced and certified instructors. As I was talking about, that we have 30 in-house instructors and more than 2,000 freelance instructors closely associated with us. So we are making sure that we have the best talent that can impart cybersecurity training to the industry leaders so that they can cope up with the cybersecurity challenges as well explained by Jay. So that's how we are leveraging this partnership, and we are very sure that partnered with EC Council, we are going to address that challenge up to the large extent. I know there is nothing like one solution to all the cybersecurity needs, and there is nothing like 100% security. But yeah, of course, we are striving hard, and we will be delivering that in the region and beyond.
Great. As we come to the end of the session, we would like to know firstly from Jay, what message would you like to pass on to businesses in general about cybersecurity and the entire industry?
Well, all I want to tell businesses is that do not take cybersecurity for granted. It's funny, before a cybersecurity incident, budget's always an issue.
Yeah.
And after a cybersecurity incident, budget's never an issue. So it's always better for an organization to ensure that they think about cybersecurity because there's no escaping technology anymore. All businesses use tech, and all tech is vulnerable at some point. So that'll be my advice to businesses.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And Shasim?
Yeah, I would say being part of the learning organization, that for any organizations or businesses to remain relevant in the industry and not just to survive but thrive as well, you have to continually learn. So in other words, you have to become part of lifelong learning. In fact, Network Binary and EC Council stand for the same reason. That's what we are doing, right? Imparting cybersecurity training. So all the organizations must understand the need of the time, that yes, we have to have a budget, proper budget, not taking for granted, as he's rightly said. So yeah, lifelong learning must be part of the policies, the vision of any organization in order to cope up or address these challenges. Thank you.
Thanks so much. It has been wonderful hosting you. A big round of applause for Mr. Vijay and Mr. Asim for all of the lovely insights. I'm sure it's going to be beneficial for the entire business industry. Thank you so much.